Thank you. Thanks. All right, little update for Miss Annie Poo Poo. So I know we're a little bit past a week. I had my big update, but anyways, I always start out all my dogs. The first couple of days are spent on marker inquisition. So a marker is going to be a word that marks a moment in time that I like, something that she does, and for her that's going to announce the arrival of food. So I want to create an association between the two events where when she hears, when she hears that word, whatever she is doing when she hears the word, the marker, it will take on the good feeling of receiving food so that she's more likely to do it again in the future. And what the marker allows is for me to bridge the gap between desired behavior and delivery of reinforcer or a reward. So that way if I go to give her food and she stops doing the thing that I want, I'm not rewarding the wrong moment. Hopefully that makes sense. So there's a couple different markers. They all have different what's your ear doing? Different meanings as far as good, what I'm looking for within behavior and what her expectations are. So the first one that I always start out with is the word yes. Yes means I like what you did, you can come take something from me. She does not have to continue to do the behavior after she hears the word yes. She can come out of behavior. I just want her to come take food from me. I want her to have a reflexive response to these markers. So I'm very keen on making sure that I'm giving the word first and not reaching into my treat pouch or giving her, or reaching towards her with the food. I want her responding to the word and not my movements. So that way later down the road when we're in environments where there are a lot of distractions and she's maybe not looking at me, and I give that marker, if she's used to responding to my physical movements, that's going to be a missed opportunity as far as a reward goes. So again, yes is the first one. Yes means come take food from me. All she has to do, yes, what are you doing? There you go. I use that one up the most in the beginning because I don't want to force her into excuse me, duration work with new behaviors because it adds a little bit of stress. So it allows for me to get a bunch of reps in because it's just yes treat, yes treat, yes treat. I can keep asking the behavior and build value in doing the behavior. So when I say the word yes, typically I'm going to say yes and then add in a little bit of movement to tap into that prey drive. So yes, reach into my treat pouch, and then she can come chase after my hand a little bit, just to kind of build a little bit of healthy frustration and wanting to get the thing, again, to up its value. Then we have our duration marker, which is going to be good. So sit, good, implying that I like when she did it, and then if I want to pay her, good, I can bring the treat to her so that I can pay her in behavior, good. That's just allowing me to build duration. So it's kind of helping her not break out of behavior in order to get the food. I want her to learn that being in that behavior good is a good thing, and there's going to be a payment for being in behavior. And then okay is our terminal marker, meaning that the behavior is over. So I would like for her to remain in behavior until she hears that release word. So I'm starting to now add rules in where if I put her into a behavior, sit, good, I'm going to start incorporating a little bit of movement. If she breaks out of behavior, I'm just going to say nope and guide her back into behavior with my leash or with spatial pressure. Good. I'm also, as we start progressing, I'm going to start weaning out at least the frequency in which I give her food. So maybe not as often, not right away, inconsistent. Nope. Sit. Good. So like not a predictable pattern. Nope. Good. It just fixing my hand or my sleeves. Good. Okay. And I can do things like withholding food. So she breaks out of behavior because I'm adding in rules. I'm going to withhold food so that I can motivate her to try something a little bit different, right? Like, again, a little bit of healthy frustration. Now we're at the stage of adding in rules, and I want to make sure that she understands different forms of pressure, right? So we have spatial pressure and we have leash pressure. So spatial pressure, because of what are you doing? Because of how dogs communicate, they're pretty receptive to that right off the bat. We don't need to do a lot of teaching. Annie. So if I move into her, see how she gives me a little bit of space? Good. Okay. Whereas leash pressure isn't always something that they understand right off the bat. So I want to make sure that she understands what it's looking for. Okay, so I can sit, good. I can apply a little bit of tension, guiding her into behavior, good. So she knows what sit means, good. So in the learning phase, I'm gonna start adding that pressure, good. And teaching her that compliance, going into the known behavior, removes that pressure. Okay, so the reason that I like for my dogs to understand what leash pressure means and what it's asking is so that I can build reliability within behavior. In this environment, she's mostly motivated by me. There's the cats in the door that sometimes she gets a little paying attention to, people walking past the window, things like that. Sometimes she'll sniff around, but for the most part, she's motivated by me. When we start going into new environments where there's more distractions and competing motivators, and she's not motivated by me, I still want to be able to have that follow through of doing the behavior. So that's where I really need her to understand leash pressure. If I waited till those moments to start using the leash to ask things, then it just adds to the stress, right? So now she's worried about the other thing. There's this new information happening, and it becomes there becomes a lot of chaos, basically. So, excuse me. I want to make sure that she understands what the heck that leash is asking for, so that I can utilize it later when I need to communicate with her, or when I need that follow through and that clarity. She's a jumper, we know that. For that, I really used a lot of coughing, excuse me, a lot of spatial pressure. So this is where I really want you to practice this with her, because jumping, it's her love language, right? It's really hard to break as a behavior because it's so self-rewarding for them. They like the act of doing it. They're not necessarily thinking, they're just doing, right? So I have taught her the word out. She knows that means move away from resource. So I always start that with saying the word out, stepping in, and then tossing food away. So I can kind of build the muscle memory of what I'm looking for. Then teaching her how to give me space. So when you walk into the room, hi Annie, hi. We're gonna step into her, good. Instead of doing this. So, hi, hello, come on. See how I'll be moving away brings her into my space, and then me stepping in creates space. So the natural thing to do for people, that people always do, is we kind of go like this to avoid claws and things like that. What you need to do is claim your space, right? So when she comes thundering towards you, when she gets a couple strides away, just assertively walk into her space. There doesn't need to be any contact, anything like that. If she does jump up, just keep applying spatial pressure. So just keep moving into her, even if she's up here, until she backs off, and then you can stop that leash pressure or spatial pressure. Annie, come on. What are you doing? Come on. Yes. There we go. You're stuck on the leash. Oh my gosh. Very good. Then we can start adding in that word out. Yes, very good. So she already understands what the heck it means. There it is. Look at the tree. Right now I'm utilizing that mostly for moving away from me, but eventually I'll transfer it over to things that are away from me, right? So if she's sitting on the counter, I can say out. If she's she always is interested in the cats, I can say out and move her away from that. We're not quite there yet, but pretty close. She's already reflexively responding to that word. Come here. Out. Yes, very good. So you see she gives me a little bit of space, which is all I want, right? Just a little bit of space. Again, because she likes to jump on you, if we just symptom chase and we only focus on that in the concept of jumping, where she's just thinking, or she's just doing, she's not thinking, it can be a little bit unclear to her as far as where your boundaries are. So I like to make it a point to pretty regularly ask for space. It's not meant to be a punishment or a correction. It's just something that is part of a healthy relationship that dogs do with one another, that you need to start doing with her, so that she learns how to give you a little bit of space, right? So you're walking down the hallway and she's right there. Annie, out. Good. Just getting her used to that picture. If you're sitting down, I don't mind her coming up and cuddling. Come here. Hi, if I invite her into my space, but get used to, or get her used to giving you space when you want it out. Very good. Yes. don't have to do food all the time. I'm doing food right now because I'm teaching her. It's always helpful to incorporate food as much as possible in the beginning stages if you want to do it, if you want to set up little like booby trap training scenarios where she's getting that reinforcement history from you. She knows that there's something in it for her, but we won't have to always use food. Out. Sometimes it can just be, that's my expectation, I want space, I'm done with the interaction. Nope, out. Very good. If she comes right back in, you can just say, nope, out. Keep asking until you get it. No has to mean no, otherwise it means try harder. Good girl. Okay, come here. Hello. That'll be good. You will probably have seen that I have her on prong collar. That is literally just to help with clarity because she is a very enthusiastic puppy. I was finding that it was hard to keep her engaged with me when there's things going on around. So the point of the prong collar, it literally is just to add in information that she's receptive to. So, excuse me, with like a slip lead or a flat collar or a harness, I don't know what she wears when she comes in. Before the prong was using just a slip lead on her. When she feels that pressure, and she is motivated enough to pull into it, it is not always something that she's aware of or finds annoying enough to want to remove, so there's not enough of a consequence, so they continue to pull into it. It's annoying, but they don't necessarily know that the end result is you have a collapsed trachea or you're cutting supply, or an oxygen supply to your brain. They're willing to cope with that because the thing that they want is motivating enough. So the prong collar, yes, it does work through a little bit of discomfort. It's meant to just be a little bit of an addition of pressure that she's responsive to in the moment. So I can apply pressure, come on, yes. And then as soon as she does the behavior that I want, the pressure goes away. So I'm empowering her with how to remove that pressure. And when the leash is slack, there is zero discomfort being applied. So the only time there is an annoyance is when I'm asking for something. Say, give it. Good. And then it goes away and we go back to a state of neutrality. So let's go. That's what I use if she starts to forge ahead. I just very lightly lift up on my leash to ask for a little bit of space, and then it goes away again. Come on. Come on. Very good. Sit. Good. Let's go. Come here. Let's go. Sit. Good. Let's go. Good. Okay. So right there, just work her through it. She knows auto sits, but of course now that we're recording, she doesn't anymore. So I just withhold food until she did the thing that I wanted, and then I paced her a little bit more than I normally would. So let's go. What are you supposed to do? You not gonna do it? Sit. Good. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. What your nubbin doing? Sit. No. Sit. Good girl. Let's go. Yes. Very good. Oh, that's a problem. Don't eat that. There you go. Good girl. All right. Very good. Place. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. She's doing really good with all the basics. We've mostly just been working in the training room for now just because she is so easily distracted. Next week will be much more centered around doing field trips and working outside of here. We've been out front of the main building and doing up and down the road and things like that, but we haven't gone anywhere where there's like other people and dogs and things like that. So that'll be our focus around next week. If she grabs her leash like this, out. Good, thank you. That's what we say because I do not like when she chews on the leash. Rude. Very good though. All right. Bam.